Hi everyone, welcome back. I have a bit of an announcement today, which is that we have decided to change the name of the podcast from Sweet Talk to Almost Normal. I just thought that Sweet Talk did not really reflect anything I was talking about. The original name Sweet Talk came from the fact that my mom, as a kid, one of my nicknames was Sweets, and I just thought Sweet Talk kind of worked perfectly because it was like Sweets is me and then I'm talking. She actually recently told me that she called me Sweets because I actually was not sweet at all. I was like a menace as a child, so she thought it was ironic to call me Sweets just because I was such a nasty little girl. I think she's probably referring to my teenage years when I was an actual insane person and I was not the most friendly out there. So anyway, maybe I didn't love the connotations of that with Sweet Talk either. It's like something I'm trying to move forward with in my life, so I was like, maybe we just like leave the Sweet Talk behind. But anyway, Almost Normal. I'm very excited, the first episode of Almost Normal, but technically it is like the 7th episode, I think. I absolutely feel like a weight has been lifted every time I film one of these episodes. I just feel like I'm saying everything that I feel awkward to say in front of someone's face, even though I know more people than just one are listening to this podcast. There's something very therapeutic about it for me, just to sort of word vomit to you guys, and then maybe people listen, I'm not sure. But anyway, here we are, Almost Normal. I'm gonna have to get used to saying that instead of Welcome to Sweet Talk. I also thought the way I said Welcome to Sweet Talk, it was a little too like cute. And considering I talk about alcoholism, OCD, mental illness, doing drugs, drinking, boys, sex, like I just did not think it felt right to start off saying, hi guys, welcome to Sweet Talk, and then being like, I love doing cocaine. I just did not think that just like didn't feel right somehow. So anyway, that was the whole thought behind it. I just really wasn't feeling Sweet Talk anymore. So here we are, all new and improved. It's really hard to come up with a podcast name. It's extremely difficult because you want something that reflects you, but also something that reflects the topic of the podcast in question. But this podcast is difficult because I kind of talk about everything. I guess I mostly talk about being in my 20s and like the ups and downs of life that you experience in your 20s. And I guess I talk a lot about mental illness. I talk a lot about alcoholism. Like it's kind of like a smorgasbord of topics. So coming up with a podcast name was insane. I spent about 3 hours talking to ChatGPT, asking it like to help me, and it came up with horrible ones. I'm gonna tell you some ones that it suggested to me, which, yeah. Okay. Peek and reveal. I don't know if anyone ever has used ChatGPT, but basically it's like a Google, but using AI. So it doesn't give you information straight from the internet. It reads and finds information for you and then like kind of gives you a summary or just gives you just the specific question. Like you can ask it the most specific question ever. So anyway, I was like, hello, I'm filming a podcast. I am called Rita. I'm 26. I talk about being in your 20s. I talk about being an alcoholic. I talk about being sober. I talk about living in LA. I talk about all of this stuff. Like, what is a good podcast name? My podcast is called Sweet Talk. I just don't think it reflects me or what I talk about at all anymore. So let me know what I should do. I also said I'm an artist. I don't really talk about that in the podcast that much, but I might. So I just put that in. I just put as much information about it to the thing as possible. So the first one's Art of the 20s. Okay, sober and thriving. The 20-something diaries, that's not the worst, but I hope that this podcast will go beyond my 20s, and so I didn't really want to have to like do a rebrand when I hit the big 3-0, so I didn't think that was going to work. The balanced brush, I think it's taking a lot of inspiration from the fact that I said that I was a painter. Sober souls. Okay, and then I was like, you know what, maybe something about being unfiltered. Like I think I talk a lot about things that some people might not feel comfortable talking about or whatever. So then I was like, okay, can you maybe incorporate the word unfiltered? So unfiltered canvas, unfiltered reflections, unfiltered and thriving. It really likes that. Yeah, it just came up with some horrible ones. And after a while of talking to it, kind of forget everything it said in the beginning. I mean, everything you said in the beginning. So let's say you want to talk about puppies in the beginning, and then you have a bit of a long conversation with it, like it'll eventually forget that you mentioned puppies and just completely forget about that. So then, what was the last thing I said to it? Okay, so I just like keep going, and then, okay, so these are the ones where it just started to forget literally everything I had said. Okay, so we have soul echoes, gentle music, echoes of a quiet mind, the art of being alone. I don't know where I got that from, but yeah, I don't know. And then I was like, make it more funny, more interesting, and then it gave me like laughing through the chaos, mental gymnastics. I mean, it gave me such horrible ones, but me and the hubby spoke on FaceTime for a while because he is actually in New York at the moment. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to call it. And so we ended up landing on almost normal, which I actually kind of love. So I'm pretty happy with that. But anyway, that was like a very funny morning of talking to ChatGPT. Chickly wobbly, posh chaos, glamorously unhinged. Yes, but no, thank you though. Yeah, I said to add a juxtaposition, and that's when it started giving me these ones. Stylish snafu. Anyway, that's what I spent my morning doing. Actually, that's not true. This morning, last night I signed up for a Pilates class at 12. I'm basically on I wouldn't say a health kick. I would not say that's what I'm doing. Last night I ordered $100 worth of Indian food. I was the only one home. It was just me. 2 curries, rice, mango lassi, samosas, naan. Like, I went the full 10 yards, literally on my own. I think my husband, he gets like Uber Eats notifications and he is in New York, but I think he thought I had friends over because he obviously got the notification about the food and then was like, oh, what are you up to tonight? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm literally home alone watching Bridget Jones and eating Indian food. But anyway, long story short, I would not say that I'm on a health kick considering I just like ate all the leftovers for lunch today. But I am a little bit on a strength journey, I guess. I just want to be stronger. I just want to feel like I'm more of like a solid, stable person because I feel like mentally stability is a little bit dwindling slightly. So maybe like physically I'm just trying to be a little bit more solid, a little bit more grounded. And so I'm a bit on like a strength kick, I guess you could say. Before my wedding, because I had a corseted dress, going up and down in weight was like not an option because you only have a few alterations and then you literally have to wear that dress, and I was unable to change how I looked at all once I had the first fitting. So I went a little bit on like a Pilates kick with my mom who came to London to hang out with me, and I got really into it and I was feeling really strong, I was feeling really healthy. And then I went on my honeymoon and hardly did any exercise, basically ate whatever I wanted, which is obviously completely fine. It's your honeymoon, like you should enjoy, do whatever you want. But like I must say, when I came back home, I felt like really sluggish and just a bit like not loving how I felt. Like even mentally, I was just not feeling the best. If I went on a walk, I was like out of breath after 2 seconds. My legs always hurt. Like I was like, okay, this can't keep happening. Like I don't really want to just be healthy right before an important event. Like that's not really how I want to live my life. I do that with everything. For example, like therapy, I found that I would always call my therapist whenever something went wrong, as opposed to calling them before anything went wrong as like a precaution. I would sort of wait until something went disastrously wrong, then I would call them. I do the same with AA meetings, which I am embarrassed to admit, but I literally wait until, not on purpose, like I just don't go. And then when something is going wrong in my life, then I go. And I really want to be more of a consistent person who works on themselves even when they're sort of like in a good place, because I mean I could always get into a better place, but I think that I have the tendency to call for action when there is chaos and there is a crisis and like something has to be changed, as opposed to just consistently keeping myself at bay and doing the things that will benefit me. I just don't do that. So I am really, really trying to do that. Because I'm in college, my life is sort of cut into semesters as opposed to like years. So I kind of do my new year what is the word? Resolutions. I kind of do my New Year's resolutions at the end of summer or whenever I'm starting a new semester, which gives me a lot of opportunity to start them again. 3 times a year I can start them again. Something I'm really trying to work on is being consistent. That goes with YouTube, that goes with exercise, that goes with being mindful about what I'm eating. It goes with trying to stop smoking vapes. That is something that is on the top of my list. It's making me feel absolutely horrible, but I cannot stop. But I'm trying to be more consistent. So anyway, with the wedding dress thing, I went off on a complete tangent, but basically I was just saying that I do all this stuff like right before something bad happens or right before something important is happening. And I did that before my wedding. I like went into full like bridezilla mode, and I was like, oh my god, my dress has to fit, da 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 da, like I have to do this. And then of course the minute the wedding was over, like I just completely stopped everything. And that kind of is like a thing with me. It's like extreme up or like extreme down. I find it really, really hard to be in the middle. So I'm working on that. But anyway, before my wedding, me and my mom did a lot of Pilates. And I felt so strong. I felt so healthy. I felt like I could like hold myself up properly without getting tired. I have the worst hunchback ever. I've had it since I was a kid. I remember going to dinner with my auntie, who is my favorite auntie in the world. I love her. She scared me a lot when I was a kid. But every time I went to see her, she would be like, tits up, tits up. Because as a kid, I was just like hunched over. And I still have that. I'll be walking down the street and I'll catch a glimpse of myself in a shop window or something. And I'll be like stand up straight. I'm literally like facing the pavement. But when I try and stand up straight, eventually my back hurts, my stomach hurts, I feel tired. I feel like I'm like forcing myself to stand like that. I don't think it's coming naturally ever. So I will say that after I did all those Pilates classes before my wedding, I was able to like stand up stronger and not get exhausted. So anyway, I have started going back to Pilates. Another thing is that I really didn't like going to exercise classes by myself. I only liked going with my mum or with a friend. I have recently come to terms with the fact that other people cannot be on my schedule all the time, so I have to push myself to do things that scare me a little bit. And one thing that does scare me a bit is going to Pilates class alone, but I have been forcing myself to do that. Anyway, I woke up this morning. I had booked a class the night before for 12 p.m. I woke up this morning, it was 9:30. I was like, oh, okay, easy, that's fine. Closed my eyes for 2 seconds, woke up again, it was 11:35. And this Pilates studio is strict. So if you're more than 5 minutes late, they will not let you into the class. So I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So I sprinted over to Pilates this morning. I think I did a little bit of a run before Pilates because I couldn't find any parking. I could only find parking like kind of far away. So my morning was kind of crazy. And then I spent the rest of the morning talking to ChatGPT about what my new podcast should be called. Not my new podcast, what the podcast's new name should be. So that has literally been my day. And the rest of the day I've just been sitting around. I just finished rewatching my favorite TV show, Peep Show. My favorite TV show of all time. I have rewatched it probably 50 times, and every few months I go into a cycle of rewatching it. I give myself a little bit of time to like slightly forget what happens, so it's like a bit exciting when I watch it, but I just finished yesterday rewatching it again, and now I don't know what to do with myself. So I have in fact started putting on old episodes of it again, which is mental. I need to probably find new things to watch, but I typically rewatch the same things over and over and over again. That is typically what I do. I get really stressed out about starting new TV shows. If I'm with other people, if I'm with my husband and there's a new TV show on, we'll be like, oh, let's watch it, and it's fine. But typically, and when I say typically, I mean always, when I'm by myself, I only watch my collection of favorite TV shows and movies. That's it. Like, I'm not trying to move out of my little comfort zone if I don't have to. So those TV shows are Peep Show is my number one top. I managed to watch 10 seasons in 2 days, but I kind of just like have it on in the background. I know exactly what happens. I can say it word for word. Each episode, I can tell you exactly what happens. I can tell you who that is, what their name is, where they come from, what they do, like everything, what they're about to say, what they need, like blah, 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 like literally everything. So that's my top. Then, I know the collection, but I'm like trying to think of what, maybe I just won't put them in order. Peep Show is the top, but the rest aren't really in order. But the next would be Girls. I rewatch that all the time. Next would be Fleabag. I've watched Fleabag so many times and it's only 2 seasons, which is really annoying. I have to watch that the least because it's the hardest to forget considering it's only 2 seasons. So I sort of just watch that maybe twice a year. I sound insane. Girls, Peep Show, Fleabag, Broad City. Broad City I've watched 20 times probably. I love that, but every time I watch it makes me want to go back to New York. Oh, Transparent. Transparent I have rewatched maybe 5 or 6 times. And the Bridget Jones movies. I literally watched Bridget Jones' Baby last night, but I watched those all on repeat. Girls, Broad City, Peep Show, Fleabag, and Transparent. I guess I kind of like TV shows about nothing. It's like just about people's lives. I am the same with my books. I really only like to watch things that are just about following a person around in their day-to-day life. I don't really need action. I don't really need mystery or drama or thriller. I don't really need any of that. I just really love sitting down and relaxing to a TV show just about normal life. And that's probably why I love podcasts and YouTube so much, because that is literally just about everyone and their day-to-day life, reality at its finest. I don't actually really like reality TV shows though, so I'm like very particular about the kind of thing I like. But yeah, like Bridget Jones, obviously just about her trying to find a boyfriend. Peep Show, if you've never seen it before, I highly suggest it. It is extremely dry British humour, but I assure you it's incredible. That is just about these 2 guys that live in a flat together and try and get by in life. Girls, the same thing. Group of girls living in New York trying to figure out life. Fleabag, same. A woman. She has a little bit of disaster in her background, but essentially it's just her like going through the motions of life. Yeah, that is like what I like to watch. And I'm the same with books. I am almost at the end of the second book, which is my favorite book ever, which is Confessions of a 40-something fuck-up. I had mentioned it, I think, on the first ever episode of Almost Normal. It was Sweet Talk, but now it's Almost Normal. And I said that that book actually inspired me to start this podcast, because she starts a podcast in that book called Confessions of a 40-something fuck-up, and it's all about her life as a 40-something woman, trying to find love, trying to find a job, trying to find an apartment, comparing herself to her friends, comparing herself to people she sees on the internet. Like, I love that book. And I just feel like I relate to it so much, because in the book she is a British woman, and then she moves to California and meets a man and is like planning to live there forever and stays there, and then things go wrong, so she has to like move back to London. And I just like relate to that because I'm a British girl and I now live in California. Hopefully the rest of the book doesn't align with my life, but just that little bit I feel like comfort in. And I love books that are set in an area that I know, like North London. I just love reading the similarity. I just love reading about things that I'm familiar with and reminds me of home. That's why I like a lot of like British TV shows. They make me so happy. There's also The Inbetweeners, which is such a funny TV show. And yeah, I just like British British dry humor, which is just like sarcasm basically, is my favorite thing, is literally my favorite thing. Like if I made a TV show, it would be that. Just like the driest humor ever. Yeah, I love it. But another book I read, which I love, now I'm just going to suggest to you books that I love if you guys are interested, because another thing that I'm trying to be consistent with is reading, because every time I read, I feel so much better. I love finding a book that I'm obsessed with, and I can't wait to pick it up, and I can't put it down when I pick it up. Like, I love that feeling so much. Like, I spent hours on my honeymoon just reading, and it was the most amazing, delightful experience ever. I am obsessed with reading, but I, for some reason, find it really hard to get into the groove of it if I stop for a while, such as everything in my life. So I'm trying to be consistent with reading because I know how good it makes me feel. It mentally takes me to a new space that allows me to escape my own mind, which can be a little bit of a tricky area to habitate in, to live in. But reading is just like one of those ways that I can escape my brain and myself, and I know how happy it makes me, but I find it so hard to be consistent with it. Like, I'll finish a book that I really, really love, and then I'll put it down, and I think what happens to me is that I pick up a new book and I don't initially like it as much as the book I just finished, or it's just like, okay, I know exactly what it is. Just as I said about the TV shows, like I find it really hard to start a new TV show, I think I am the same with books. I just cracked that this second. That seems so obvious to me, but for some reason I did not think of books and TV shows as like the same situation. That is just bonkers. I just literally cracked a major flaw in my life, which is I find it really, really hard to start new movies, TV shows, and books. And books goes into that category of things I find it hard to start new. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so the reason I find it hard to start reading a new book after the one I was just in is because I know with TV shows, it's because I become familiar with the characters. I feel like I know them. They're my friends. I feel comfortable with them. They make me feel calm. And I also know that a symptom of anxiety is rewatching the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know if that's a symptom, but something that anxiety does is it makes people watch the same thing over and over again because they know what's coming and they don't want any surprises. So they find it really comforting to watch the same things over and over again, which is obviously what I have. But I also think it's just I find it so comforting to be with the people that I'm used to. And so I just rewatch the same thing over and over and over again. And so I guess with the book, I get really attached to the character. Like, I love the character in Confessions of a 40-something fuck-up. She's amazing. Her name is Nell. She's my best friend. We go way back. I love her. So I think that once I finish the second book, and I'm begging the author, please come up with another one. Please, 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 please. Please, please, please. She can't stop. Let's just keep going. 1 or 2 more books. Just 1 or 2. I swear to God, that's all I'm asking for, 1 or 2. But I'm pretty sure that when I finish the second Confessions of a 40-something fuck-up. It's called More Confessions of a 40-something fuck-up, the second one. I'm pretty sure when I finish that, I'm going to find it really hard to dive into a new book because it's going to be new characters, a new plot line, and I'm not going to be used to it, and I'm going to have to get used to it, and that is like something I have to force myself into. I have to force myself into getting through the first few chapters in order for me to get familiar with the person. But that is like a job that I have to do. Like, I have to force myself to continue reading because I know I'm not going to be interested in it in the first couple pages because I'm going to be like, this isn't Nell, okay, this is not the same woman, like, I don't know this person, I don't really want to read about her. I know I have to just keep going, keep pushing myself, like, it's that first little bit. Hold on. I keep getting these, like, it's not skin, but it's, like, white bits of skin on my lips that just keep coming off, and it's really disgusting and really annoying. I love this. Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Gloss by Flawless. So nice, and it tastes amazing. Don't eat it. But yeah, anyway, I don't know, I'm trying to work on myself as an adult a little bit. I feel like this podcast is really helping me understand what I'm missing and what I should think about a little more. I think I'm super aware about the fact that I sort of just go through life without thinking a lot. That sounds really like I'm some idiot. I don't really mean it like that. I just think that kind of do things without like fully, oh my God, what is the word? I go about my life doing things I feel without proper intention. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't give things a lot of thought and I jump into them, and I find it really hard to slow down and think about why I'm doing something and think about why I'm changing something. I don't live with intention as much as I think I should. And I didn't really figure that out even like until I started this podcast, because I felt like I was rushing to the camera to to do a podcast episode, and I would sit there and be like, I don't really have anything to talk about. And that's because I didn't go into the episode with any intention whatsoever. I just like sat in front of the camera and like didn't have an intention for the episode. And I'm really trying to work on that, because after I started doing that a few times with the episodes on this podcast, I was like, why do I not sit ever and just think and consider things before doing them? It's a little bit like my painting practice. Like, I never do sketches before the painting. I just sort of like go straight into the main painting using like canvas and oil paint and everything like that. I don't sketch, I don't plan, I just go and jump straight into it. And I notice I do that with, I guess, like a lot of stuff, and it didn't really cross my mind that much until I started doing this podcast, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like I keep sitting in front of this camera and I have nothing to say. And it's not because I don't have anything to say, it's just because I have like zero intention for this day's episode. I just want to do it, I just want to record it, but I didn't sit and think at all about what I wanted to talk about. And I don't want to do that anymore, because it kind of wastes my time. And if I were to ever put out an episode where I did that, I have never actually posted a video where I do that. Filmed a lot of episodes that I have never posted before because of that problem. I just sit there and try and like think of something to say while I'm like in front of the camera, which is just stupid. Like, I'm never going to say anything interesting like that. But that is something I've really noticed I thank the podcast for that. I just want to go into life with a little bit more intention, Before I go into Pilates, instead of being 3 minutes late and having to rush into the class, I want to be able to like get there a little early and like sit and like think about what is my intention of being in this class, like why am I here? Because I think a lot of my anxieties come from me rushing into things, and I just go and do stuff, and then I think about it after I've done it, and that causes anxiety for me, because then it's like the thing is already done and I'm like, I wish I did that differently. So those are some things I'm working on at the moment, just being consistent and like thinking a little bit more with intention, not jumping into things. That also goes for things like online shopping or shopping in general. I have been doing that way too much recently. I just click, order things, and I have no intention for any of it. Like, I want to be that person that needs to get a dress for an event, and so that's when they get the dress. They don't just like randomly like pile up on things that they don't need in case one day something happens that I need it for, because at the end of the day, I have time, I have the facility to deal with the thing once it's there, and I don't have to like doomsday prep for my life and like hoard a bunch of dresses and hoard a bunch of shit that I don't need just in case I might need it one day. Like, if the time comes where I need a new dress, I can go and figure that out in that moment. Like, I don't need to gather up the troops and have them like waiting in the cupboard for me in case it happens so that I need a last minute dress. Like, you know what I mean? So just sort of being a little bit more thoughtful about things, a little bit more mindful about things. What do I want to do if I hang out with a friend? Like, is there something we want to talk about? Like, not being like so like scheduled about things, but just more being a bit like, do I want to do this? Is this good right now? I just want to like think about things a little bit more. This is making me sound like a dumbass, being like, I just want to think. It's like when Kylie Jenner was like, it's like a year of like realizing stuff. It's like, I just want to think about the things that I do, but I do mean that though. I just want to think more before action. Yeah. But anyway, this was definitely a ramble, just me talking shit, but I feel a lot lighter, a lot better. I'm really happy you guys sat here and listened to me talk about absolute nonsense. I really want to get into like talking about books, but I don't really think that's like the vibe of this podcast, but like maybe I'll like fit them in somehow. I guess we kind of talked about books a bit today, but yeah. Oh, I was going to suggest books to you. One other book I just want to mention right now is the book called Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. That book is absolutely incredible. I love that book. If you haven't read it, read it. It's about this woman who lives in London. It's amazing. It's hilarious, funny. I don't know why I'm just randomly suggesting books to you now, but I guess that's what's happening. But Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine and Confessions of a 40-something fuck-up 1 and 2. Trust me, you're going to have a great time. They're a bit more of like a girly book, both of them, all of them. A little bit more girly, but like anyone can read them. They're amazing. Anyway, I'm going to get off now because I'm going to start just like suggesting random shit to you. and I don't want to do that unless you want me to, but you can't answer me right now, so I am not going to do that right now. But if anyone wants my book list or my TV show list or my movie list, like, I have all of them. They're really, really short, all of them, because again, I watch the same things over and over again, and I find it really hard to read new books. But I can tell you that anything that I watch and anything I read, I love, because I live by them. I watch them all the time. I read them all the time. So the list may be small, but they're valuable. So let me know if you guys need any suggestions for any of that stuff. I don't really want to get off, but I really don't have anything else to say. I have to go to my friend's house in an hour, so I should probably like start getting ready, because I don't think she lives near me anymore. I think she moved. Can't be 100% sure about that, but I think she did, so I should probably put some clothes on. By the way, look how cute my t-shirt is. Anyway, I really, really love you guys. I don't want to say goodbye because I just want to hang out with you guys. But I will go. I will let you go. And I am really excited to see you next time for the next episode of Almost Normal. Oh my God. Gonna be weird. I'm gonna keep saying sweet talk for a while. I know it, because I can't change my mind. Anyway, I love you guys. I don't really know. I'm gonna stop talking. Okay. Love you guys. I'll see you next time. Love you. Don't forget to subscribe, okay? Because I think some people are watching my videos and not subscribing. That sucks. Don't forget to subscribe, okay? I love you guys. Also, wait, one more thing. I am gonna make an email list. So anyone that wants to be on the email list for the podcast, let me know. You can DM me your email. My Instagram is Rita Aldridge, I think. It's linked below, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I'll link it below. If it's not already linked, I will link it below. And if you want to be part of the email list and get like updates and stuff from me, then let me know. Send me your email and I'll add you. And yeah, that's it. I love you. Bye.